Lesson Day, welcome back to LMS Portal. Moving to the next session of Indian Literature in English Translation, Session 2. Before that, let me just start a pre-reading of our previous session. To sum up, we had a clear understanding about the impact of translation methods and process. We came across the phases of translation. We discussed about the concept of transcreation, and all we had to admit was that we cannot have our great and glorious literature stagnated. It has to reach to the people and the world. We also listed out a few top translation works, and finally we arrived at a conclusion that language cannot be a barrier of expressions. Now coming to the analytical process of translation, I have chosen the novel Kanthapura of 1938 by a renowned author Raja Rao. He adapted to the Indian conditions and culture, and he wrote this novel in English. He, in his preface to his novel, says that English is not really an alien language to us. It is a language of our intellectual makeup, which is not of our emotional makeup. This we discussed in our previous session, that a work through a translation process get into a kind of transcreation, and the transmitted content has a missing link with the emotional tide, but there seems to be a intellectual takeoff, and that is where the translation works get success and which is accepted by the world. According to this, let me take another novel, The Hungry Tart, written by Amit Ghosh in 2004. Amit Ghosh blends ethnography and history, in which he defines a series of cultural features of a micro community in the remote region of India. But at the same time, he imports the wider world through cosmopolitan outsiders and crosses the barriers of language, religion, class, and culture. So, what we need to understand here is Indian authors writing in English paves huge audience readers worldwide. Let us get into the expansion of translation. Here I have focused on a few prolific writers as Tejaswini Niranjan. Her works on criticism of works in translation is the best work used for comparative literature. Sujit Mukherjee, 10 volumes of History of Indian Literature. Mahatma Gandhi's autobiography, translated by Mahadev Desai, and Bharata's Natya Shastra, world-renowned translation works. We have Chittar, who spent more than 33 years in translating Tukaram's poetry verses, and many more. Hence, translation works are really challengeable and highly valued. Coming to the point of the learning outcomes of ILET, it strengthens students to know about the Indian literature. It integrates knowledge and to analyze, evaluate, and manage the different aspects of Indian writing in English and the translation methods. It helps students to evaluate the social, cultural, economic, legal, and organizational aspects influencing the learners to the impact zone of IELT. Let us know a few more essentials about the translation works. Translation of Indian writing in English is a challenge. The major role of translation is to transmit the art and the manifestation of intellectuality of our gifted authors spreading to the wider world. So, the purpose of translation is to adopt the richness and complexity of the Indian culture in an ever more globalized world, and culture and tradition will be a remarkable contribution to which the 21st century unfolds. I have placed the revision for session 1 and 2 along with the reference. Let me end this session with a good hope of acceptance. Thank you.